This video is for those who are currently experiencing a terrible hardship in their life and they just can't help but question, why me? Why does it seem like everyone else around me, all my friends, are having it so good? And for some reason, I just can't get it right. For some reason, bad things keep happening to me. For some reason, I attract drama. A lot of negative things have happened, and it just seems like life is out to get you, and somehow you're different. Somehow you've been given all the bad cards and you just don't know how to see the good. This was something that I was contemplating a lot, especially last year when I was going through a really difficult time. I just couldn't help but wonder, why me? Like, I haven't done anything terrible in my life to deserve these hardships that I've been given. For the most part, I've been a pretty good kid growing up. I listened to my parents, I studied, I got good grades. It seemed like I was doing all the right things in life, and then all of a sudden, I just kept getting so many hardships, and I just couldn't make sense of it. What's incredibly deceiving, especially during a time where you're just going through a lot of suffering, is when you go on social media and you see all your friends or people that you're following just seem to have it so good. They're in happy and healthy relationships, or so it seems like, or they've accomplished things and they're traveling and they just have what you want. And I'm not gonna lie, it got to me a lot, especially last year. But what I've come to realize is social media is such a lie. It is such a facade, especially now that I am on the back end of it. I've realized how much of an illusion it is and how you can literally create a version of you and a persona of you online. Like 99.9% of it is all fake. It really is all fake. You won't really know that until you start creating videos yourself and you realize how fake everything is, especially on TikTok, especially on Instagram. You can curate such a fake persona and a fake lifestyle and deceive everyone. I really want people to snap out of it and stop comparing themselves to their peers who seem to have it so good. You cannot compare your life, especially online, because it's fake. And you're holding yourself up to very false standards that are so falsely curated, that are so untrue, and you'll never be happy, because as soon as you reach a certain milestone in your life, there's always another one to reach, and it never ends. So the best way to avoid comparison is truly just to understand that it's fake. And you can have your fun, you can post, all your fun pictures of your travels and your restaurant moves and your social moves, but understand that it's all fake. If you know when you're posting it how fake it is, then why would you let other people's posts get you? You know what I mean? Even if, let's say, those people are genuinely enjoying their life and genuinely having a good time in their life, that doesn't mean that they're not experiencing hardships behind the scenes. That doesn't mean that they haven't experienced hardships in the past, and that also doesn't mean that they won't experience hardships in the future. You can never compare your journey to someone else's because they don't have the same experiences and upbringing as you do. There's literally no reason to compare yourself to someone else because that person isn't you. They weren't grown with the same experiences as you, so they're going to have different challenges. They're going to have different hardships, and who's to say that's not going to happen further down the road? We get such a small snapshot of each other's lives, and this is all we're seeing right now in the moment, but you can't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know what these other people are going to struggle with in the future, so there's literally no point in comparing your journey to someone else's. That's all I'm trying to say. It's so easy to question the universe and question God, or just like in general question yourself, like, why me? Like, why am I going through such a hardship? But you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It wasn't until I experienced a really difficult point in my life that I could start empathizing with others who have also had difficulties in their life. It's like you're experiencing a whole different side of the world. And I'm not gonna lie, before I was very privileged. I'm still very, very content and happy with what I have, but before I didn't have any hardships in my life, so I didn't really know how to empathize with those who were struggling because I didn't know what it was like. But now it's like I have this whole new lens of the world, and I have so much more compassion and empathy for those who have experienced hardships, because now I truly know what is it like to live life. Like, I feel like I've really experienced the depths of it now. and I wouldn't have had I not faced this hardship. Something that really keeps me going is if only you knew what was going on behind the scenes and how much the universe is working in your favor to make sure that you achieve everything you want in life. If only you knew how much love there is, how much compassion there is going on behind the scenes that you just can't see. If you are religious or spiritual, there's definitely something happening behind the scenes, and you have to believe that it's working in your favor. Even if you can't see the reasoning in that, whatever's happening is happening for a good reason. And while you can't see that right now, I need you to trust me. This is all happening for a better reason. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more resilient. It's going to make you more empathetic. One example I want to share with you is, let's say you got a job interview and you're running really late for the job interview. Instead of stressing out about this moment, you could just look at it as a true test to see, is this potential job going to be flexible? Are they going to be understanding? Things happen. Is this job going to be truly flexible? And let's say they're like, oh, no worries. Just let us know when you're coming. Then you'll know, okay, this is a great job because they were very flexible even when I was late for my job interview. Or let's say they weren't. They were like, I'm sorry, we're not going to give you the offer. Then that's also a great thing because you wouldn't want to work for such a strict job that's not understanding about something that's completely out of your control. Either way, it's a win-win. Either way, it's the universe telling you this is a great opportunity or this wasn't the right job for you. And thank God the universe showed you. The same thing applies to any hardship in your life, especially a breakup or a separation. You might question it, you might not understand it, you might be really frustrated, but eventually you'll come to realize that this was a blessing in disguise and that there was so much going on behind the curtains that you just didn't know about. The thing is, things that happen in our life are fairly neutral, okay? These are just events. It's up to us to apply meaning to it. It's up to us to attach a story to it. A breakup is a breakup. It's just two people that didn't work out. Now it's up to you to create a story or a narrative. Things don't work out for me. Why me? I'm unlovable. I'm not worthy. That's up to you. The thing is, you could definitely focus on the negatives. And if you keep assuming that only bad things happen to you, that's exactly what you're going to attract. If you start thinking that the universe is working in your favor and that good things are happening to you and that things are happening to you for a better reason, that's exactly the way it will turn out. Events that happen to you, they're completely neutral. There's no meaning to it. It's just life. Breakups happen. People lose their jobs. People lose loved ones. Illnesses happen. It's us humans that attach a meaning to it. Good or bad, we're attaching a meaning to it. Now, you can attach a bad meaning to it, but why not just attach a good meaning? Why not just believe full-heartedly that this was for a better reason? Growing up, I used to love watching Food Network, and there's a show called Chopped, and it is such a great metaphor for life. I know they weren't intending to do this, but every opponent gets presented with a basket of the most random ingredients. Like Matthew Hussey was talking about this in his book, A Love Life. Like kelp jerky. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with kelp jerky? And each opponent is this amazing chef, is this amazing artist. Do you think that once they get presented with these ingredients, they sit there and they complain? If they did that, the whole show, there wouldn't be a show. Like, it would be canceled. It's their job to accept what life has given them and create something beautiful out of it. The better you're able to do that, the better chef you are, the better artist you are. You can compare this to life. In life, you get presented with a lot of random stuff. A lot of random shit happens. A lot of times they can be seen as bad things, like kelp jerky. No one wants kelp jerky, but you got it. These are the cards you've been dealt with. Now we can sit there and we can complain our whole lives, but what kind of life is that? You're not even creating anymore. You've just started complaining about what's happened to you. It's our jobs to take what life has given us and accept it and try to create meaning out of it. I truly believe that all of us, human beings, all of us are artists. In fact, I'm currently reading The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. And this book is not just for singers and writers. This book is for every human being because we're all artists. We're all artists because we're all creating constantly. No matter what you do, by living, you're creating. And so if you look at it through that lens, you're given this random set of ingredients. You're given this random paint that you have to use and create something beautiful out of it. And that is up to you. That's all in your hands. Things that we've been given, it's out of our hands. But now it's up to us to apply meaning to it and to turn it into something beautiful. How amazing is that? If you shift your perspective on that and you look at it in terms of a game or in terms of a project you have to create, life just becomes so much more interesting. Dr. Gabor Mate says this: it is well known that a lot of patients who have cancer actually say that that's the best thing that happened to them. And I know that sounds weird. What they're saying is that you truly look at life differently once you experience a hardship. Once you realize the fragility of life and how short it is, you really look at it differently and you start to experience things a lot differently. And sometimes it just takes that hardship, whether it be a breakup or illness, it takes that for you to wake up and look at life differently. Maybe this is what needed to happen so that you can start appreciating your life. You can start having gratitude for things. Maybe before you were living a very small life, a very one-dimensional life, and now this hardship has made you see life so differently. You can keep questioning why me. You can keep wishing that certain things didn't happen to you in your life. But I truly believe that to wish certain things didn't happen to you is to wish you didn't exist as you are right now. You would be deleting really core parts of what make you who you are now. In a weird way, I'm really grateful for the hardships I've been given. I wouldn't want it any other way because I'm just so proud of where I've come, how much I've learned, the gratitude, the beauty, the empathy I have. I would never trade that for anything. And while I was going through it, I definitely didn't like it. But once I came out of it, it just makes you so much stronger. It really does. The truth of the matter is, everyone's going to experience a hardship at some point of their life. There's no way you can go living life without experiencing hardship, okay? There's always going to be something that happens. And yours just happens to be now. Yours just happens to maybe a little bit earlier than most people would. I wouldn't necessarily look at that as a bad thing. You know, you're going to be so strong. You're going to develop so much empathy and resilience and compassion. These are vital and key for living a fulfilling life. And you get to practice and you get to get stronger earlier. So you're going to be well equipped for any hardships that are going to come further along. I kind of see that as better. Like, I'd rather know now how to face a hardship than way in the future when I'm in my 40s or 50s and something bad happens, I wouldn't know what to do. Now I feel like I've developed so much emotional strength and resilience that should a hardship come my way, I'll know exactly what to do. Life becomes so much easier once you just start accepting what's thrown at you. The more you resist things that happen in your life, the more suffering there will be. Life becomes so much easier once you just start accepting the things it hands you. The thing is, if you're watching this video, you already have thousands of things to be grateful for. There is so much suffering going on in the world, and that doesn't invalidate your feelings. It doesn't invalidate the hardships you're going through. But what I'm trying to say is that everyone has difficulties in their life, and it's up to us to accept the difficulties we've been given and truly just do the best with what we have. The more we start comparing ourselves to those who are above us, who seem like they have it all, the more unhappy we're going to be. There are so many things that we're not even thinking about that we take for granted that we have in our life that is working in our favor. And we just tend to focus on all the negative, on all the things that aren't going right. You know, when I was going through my divorce last year, that was all I could think of. But I had so many blessings coming my way that I was just ignoring because I was just so hyper fixated on that one thing that wasn't going right in my life. And it wasn't until I started experiencing actual issues with my health, and then I realized none of this matters because now my health is in jeopardy. And now I just wish that I appreciated my health. And it's only when something's been taken away from you that you start realizing how grateful you should have been for it. I want us to start appreciating what we have while we have it, because nothing is guaranteed in life. A lot of people's problems is that they expect that they shouldn't have any problems. You know, who are you to be shielded from bad things in life? You know, that's gonna happen. At any point, anyone can experience a hardship. None of us are protected from that. It's up to us to take what life hands us and handle it with grace. The moment you start looking at all the things that are actually working in your favor and all the things that are going right in your life, that's when true happiness will start entering your life. That's when you'll truly start being happy. when I was going through a really dark period of my life, every night I would just try to think of at least like 5 things. I know I have a million things to be grateful for, but I would try to at least like think about 5 things that I'm really happy and appreciative and grateful for. Instantly, like the depression would just go away. Like the sadness would just go away, because I'm now not just hyper fixated on the one thing that's lacking in my life, but I'm looking at all the blessings that are surrounding me. And that's when I started just becoming so much more happier. Honestly, I think that was the biggest thing that helped me heal, was just taking a moment to appreciate all the things I have in my life, because you never know when those things can also be taken away. A lot of times we think we're entitled to just like a perfect life with no hardships, with no suffering. And the moment one thing goes wrong, we start to freak out because we think that we're entitled to this perfect life. But like, who are you? You know, like you're not that special than that other person living in a different country who's experiencing so much suffering and so much misery. Who are we to expect everything's gonna go right in our life? And the moment one thing goes off the path that we've created in our head, that's when we start spiraling and assuming that we have the worst life ever. There's so many things that could go wrong, and every day you don't understand how many things are working in your favor. The fact that you can breathe, the fact that you can see, the fact that you have enough money to watch this video on a phone or on a laptop, that's a blessing. And once you start looking at everything that way, life becomes so much more beautiful, and you'll stop questioning why me, because you'll understand how privileged you are and how much good you have in your life. So the next time you find yourself asking, why me, why not you? Alright guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I hope this really helps reframe your way of thinking and hopefully change your way of thinking from a victim mindset to one of an artist's mindset, someone who actually has the power to create a meaningful life. We all are artists in our life, and it's up to us to take the ingredients, to take the different colors and create something beautiful from it. So hang in there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.